in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. We're out of closed session at 6 o'clock.
And I would like to note that joined us at the time of 5:39.
I apologize for the tardiness. Thank you.
You can stay after class, okay? All right. There is reportable action, and our legal counsel will respond to that.
Yes, to report out a closed session that in closed session, the Board of Directors voted unanimously to accept a settlement in a case filed by Karen Bennett, B-E-N-N-E-T, against the district, against the county, and 2 other individuals. The basic terms of the agreement are that the plaintiff, Ms. Bennett, is dismissing the case in exchange for a waiver of costs. There are full releases by all parties, and no money is exchanging hands.
Any questions? All right. We're back to open session. It is 6:02. Public comments. Anyone out there who'd like to make a comment at this particular time? We're got ears to hear you.
Hello, Rcsd board. This is Richard Walker, Patrick Keeley, and Pamela Sater, applicants for Track 7362. We have been working with General Manager Kim Domingo in crafting the district's ADU ordinance, and we are available to answer any questions you may have.
We actually discussed the concern a little bit, but I don't know if we're ready to respond. We have it on the agenda. Okay. It's on the agenda. Yep. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Mr. Walker. Any other public? All right. Hearing none, I'm going to read again comments that were read, that were spoken in a public meeting about 70 years ago here in Roseland to the citizens and the voters. These are comments from my father. Unfortunately, as our culture changes, the evolution has been downward. Our founding fathers would be mortified. Personal satisfaction has always been achieved through 3 basic unchangeable principles. First, the desire of our hearts to improve. Second, the wisdom for selecting proper actions. And third, the time necessary to work towards improvement. Desire must come from within. Wisdom that is fortified with a moral, ethical standard. Must be and we must continue to learn. And time must be in place and planned for us to learn. This wisdom will provide the moral stamina to return to the culture that established our nation. It's not too late. Voluntary public roll call. Anyone on teleconference?
Yes, Roseman News is here with John Joyce reporting for the 39th year in print and online.
39 years of publication. How many years of walking the earth?
80.
You don't have to answer that, John.
No, I'm proud of it. 80.
Oh, my goodness. You're right up there with Director Waldorf. All right. Consent calendar. We have CC1, CC2, CC3 dealing with the treasurer's report and cash balances. I have a motion for CC1, CC2, and CC3.
So moved.
Second?
Director Wynn.
Any questions? Okay, Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried for CC1, CC2, and CC3. Minutes that need to be approved from the meeting, the regular board meeting on August the 9th. I have a motion for those minutes.
So moved.
Moved by Director Wallace, second by Director Washington. Anybody have any comments about the meeting agenda? The minutes? All right. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Same sign. M1 is carried. Unfinished business, UP1, I believe we're going to take it. You want to speak to that, General Manager?
Thank you, Mr. President. So this is an item that has been initially brought to the board on July 26th. We had received comments that were not part of the record on August 9th, so that came in after posting the agenda. So it was postponed to August 9th. Then on August 9th, we received additional comments after the agenda was posted. So we postponed it to August 23rd. And then when the agenda was posted on Thursday, August 17th, on Friday, August 18th, the staff received additional comments from the applicant of tracks 7362, which were added to the board packet, making the comments a part of the record. Staff did not have adequate time to address the comments in the staff report or make any adjustments to the proposed resolution. Staff recommends that this item is tabled for consideration at a later date.
Did you hear that, Mr. Walker?
Yes, board member. I did. My understanding was that there would be some discussion on the ADU ordinance. I understand that General Manager Domingo will need to review the latest comment letters submitted on August 18th. However, my understanding is that, General Manager Domingo is inclined to move forward with the ADU ordinance as currently drafted. Having said that, what would be the purpose for tabling this agenda item until the next board meeting?
No, my recommendation, Mr. Walker, is for them to table it.
Thank you.
Yes. Mr. Watson, can I ask you a question? As far as getting information to us, it appears that we're always just missing it. Is that bad communications on our part, or the research you're getting is coming in late? Because, I know you're trying to get the information to us, but it appears that either we're not getting it in time or you're getting it to us before we can get on our agenda. So maybe you can coordinate that so we can get it addressed for you.
Mr. Walker, let me respond to Mr. Webb on your behalf, if you don't mind. I think this is a complex issue, Director Webb, that needs to be deliberated with our council, both the applicant's council and our council. We're doing that due diligence. We have a position that we want to present to the board. However, I don't think we're ready to take action or ready to even to bring this for your consideration. So I don't fault the applicant for any of their comments. I appreciate their comments, but it is a complex issue that we need to have the opportunity to deliberate with council.
And that's what's important to all of us, but I don't want it to appear that we're delaying, because his tone to me sounds like we're trying to delay this, and I don't want that to play out here.
Well, again, and that's why I'm explaining that to you, Director Webb. That's why I'm explaining the complexity of this situation.
Thank you. Any other questions from the directors? All right, so that is tabled to the next regular board meeting.
Definitely.
We need a motion.
I'll make a motion that we table UB number 1, the adoption of resolution 2023.-12 to a later meeting.
To a later meeting.
Motion, Director Webb. Second, Director Wallace. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. New business, NB1. Approve grant deed combining, several of the different APN numbers. Presenter, General Manager.
Thank you, Mr. President. So this item is a culmination of something that was directed a while ago in response to the Surplus Land Act, which is AB 1486 and AB 1255, the statute of 2019, requiring notices of availability of surplus land for lease or purchase to be sent to the State Department of Housing and Community Development in consideration of affordable housing. Your board provided direction to staff to investigate the applicability of the Surplus Land Act to the district parcel on the northwest corner of Roseman Boulevard and 35th Street West, specifically described as APN 472-080-18 as shown below. And I actually have a little map for you so you can see what we're talking about. Staff recommended and the board gave direction to pursue combining the parcel with the land contained in district administration and maintenance buildings. Staff engaged Quad Knox to prepare the documents necessary to perform the parcel merger. After consultation with the Kern County Department tasked with the Subdivision Map Act oversight, Quad Knox prepared the documents for your board's consideration. This accomplishes the parcel merger so that the land is usable and not surplus. Potentially could be surplus. So our recommendation is that you approve and authorize the president to sign.
Any questions? I don't entertain a motion for NB1.
Motion by Director Washington.
Director Washington makes the motion. Second? Second, Director Stewart. Any more discussion? All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. NB2, capital project. Automatic external defibrillators and associated budget transfers. Those are big words.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. So during the week of July 10th, staff underwent annual safety training, including cardiopulmonary resuscitation and basic first aid. Part of the training included information related to the operation of automatic external defibrillators. Using one is a victim of sudden cardiac arrest. It was noted that these devices are not currently available in district facilities. Some studies suggest that sudden cardiac arrest survival rates increased by 70% when automatic external defibrillators, I'm going to say AED from now on, are administered with the caveat that the AED needs to be close to the victim. SCA survival rate is reduced by 10% for every minute delay before the AED is administered. The cost of the units range from $800 to over $2,000, which is a small investment towards employee and public safety. The recommended project and budget transfers will allow staff to purchase the units and place one in each of the administration building, the maintenance building, and the water reclamation plant operations building. It's something that has been needed for a while, and staff recommends it be approved.
Any questions? So 3?
Yes. One here, one there, and then one at the plant.
I have a comment about 2 years ago or 3 years ago at a men's meeting at the church I attended where there was about 200 men. They just bought a defibrillator that week. Wow. And one of the pastors, older pastors, actually had a heart attack. And he was dead. One of the pastors actually worked at the emergency ward for 15 years before he became a pastor. So he was right there with the defibrillator and brought him back. And when the paramedics showed up, they confirmed that he was dead, but he's still walking around today. But they just got that defibrillator about a week before that conference. Had they not had it, probably the time it would have taken for the paramedics to get there.
So, Sherry and I were talking about this when we had the class, and we said, well, and John, and the discussion was, well, maybe we have it budgeted for next year. I said, well,
Dead is dead.
We should do it as soon as possible. I mean, if we're aware of it and it's something that can save lives, we should have it.
I asked a question about that, though.
Yeah.
You said the administrative office, the back office, and the plant. as much as we let people use this part of it, wouldn't we consider maybe having one available someplace inside here?
If you would like to amend your motion to include an...
Well, I'm just saying, and we're talking about because we're starting to let a lot more folks in. And we're inside here too, so maybe distance and time counts. So maybe if we're going to, consider this, I'd like to consider, that we have one also available inside the boardroom, but not inside here. So if we're going to cover it, let's cover it.
So if that was to happen, the additional funds would come out of... what did I have? Well, we'll figure it out appropriately. It'd be half from the water side, half from the ship side for an additional 1 year.
And I'd be in favor of designating so that we have different shifts, some training for 4 or 5, whoever we want to train.
Absolutely.
That was a question.
It's bad. I have a question. Don't have retraining?
Yes.
Yeah, so every 2 years they recert on this. No, I don't know. CPR and no.
We do every 2
years. Yeah.
Right.
Good.
But
to save a life.
I'm not sure if this particular needs yearly training for recertification, but definitely initial training.
Yeah.
And that's quite intensive, more intensive than your CPR.
All the CPR, when I take it, it's in every 2 years, and AED is covered under that.
Yeah, it actually was covered.
So they might be covered already with the training on how to use the CPR. But like I think we're getting at is when we get the units here, maybe to familiarize ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay.
And we can let, if the board is still inclined to have someone trained, we'll do that.
Yeah, the board would like
in your car.
So,
do we want to amend this to 4 units then? Or I heard a couple yeses.
I mean, do we need to we need a motion for it?
yes.
Okay.
Or we haven't. Who made the motion?
I don't think we have. We didn't have a motion yet.
Oh, I haven't made a motion. Oh, good.
Comment.
Yeah.
The most likely ones to fall over are That's all behind me.
So do we need a motion for this, Mr. President?
Yeah, but do we want to amend it to 4 instead of 3?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, you said you need a motion.
All right. Go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion that regarding NB number 2, that we add one additional external defibrillator to the package there to bring the total to 4, and that would be the places you identified plus either boardroom or conference room to have it available for activities at further time.
I have a second to all those words. Second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion NB2 carried. NB3, another capital project, number 02239.
Thank you, Mr. President. This project is to replace the ultrasonic level sensors at the Water Reclamation Facility Headworks. It was budgeted in the previous fiscal year, wasn't completed during that time frame. It was inadvertently dropped and missed for rebudgeting. So we are asking, and it's absolutely needed. So we're asking that you create the project in the current fiscal year budget and fund the completion of the project by doing the budget transfers that we've recommended.
I really appreciate the desire to transfer budget so that we, keep an accurate record, and that's why we put a little bit of extra in the different budgets.
Correct.
Any questions? I have a motion for NB3.
Motion to approve.
Motion Director Webb, second.
Second.
Second Director Stewart. All in favor say aye. 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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. NB3. NB4, approving a letter of support for Roseman Safety Project.
Thank you, Mr. President. You may have noticed some new delineators over on Roseman Boulevard and Glendower, right, to restrict left turn movements, and I provided you the package that was provided to me. In order for the actual permanent solution, which is the concrete curbing that's going to go along that median, extended median, the county is asking, or Kern County Public Works is asking for a letter of support. And so I've drafted a letter of support for that project so that it can be considered by the Kern COG. The letter is attached. I think everybody understands the situation out there and how many accidents that have happened. So the recommendation is for you to approve the letter and authorize your general manager to sign.
Any questions?
How far is the meeting going to go? Is it just going to be that little workshop thing?
No, it's going to be
highway on 20th?
going to continue. Yeah,
The Sierra Highway.
the Sierra Highway.
I like that. What's needed, 96 accidents
Oh, yeah,
since
absolutely.
2018. That's
Yeah.
quite a few. Long overdue, huh?
Yep.
This has nothing to do with this particular project, but I sure wonder when they put the access at each side of the street, and then they tear them up the next day and put them back in again. I wonder, what do they, right there at Rite Aid, they put them in, and they turn around and pour them back out, and put them in again.
It did several locations. It's ADA compliant. ADA compliant. They were 2 inches out of compliance for ADA.
So they
were 2 inches out of compliance as far as the slope.
Oh, okay. Now, did the developer, the contractor eat that up, or
Depends.
tear it up? They didn't make money on that project. Yeah.
It depends whose fault it was.
Yeah. All right. We made a motion on this yet? I need a motion for NB4. Director Wallace.
Second by Washington.
Second by Washington. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. NB4. NB5. Approved letter of intent to support project technology assistance for water connection at Desert Apartment.
So, this is for some funding through the Department of Financial Assistance from the state. The applicant that owns Desert Apartments is not currently on water. He's on his own well. He's concerned that at some point his well may come out of compliance, so he's approached the state for some funding assistance. In order for the Department of Financial Assistance to move forward with analysis and this application, they need for the water provider, which will be the district, to provide support for the project. We currently provide sewer service to this particular property. You can see that well 5 is just to the north of the property on the depiction I provided. It would be a pretty easy connection. So I'm asking for the board to authorize the letter and authorize me to sign.
Any questions? I'm sure he'll appreciate it. So no discussion? No more discussion? I have a motion for NB5. Motion by Washington. Motion by Washington, second by Stewart. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. NB5. Presentation, Water Reclamation Plant Project Update.
I can tell you that the construction project is almost done. There's still some punch list items and warrant items that are still needing to be completed. We are shooting for an end of September completion. When I say we are planning to drag the contractor across the finish line by September. So we're getting there.
Okay. All right. Director's report, comments, future agenda items. Director Washington.
Nothing tonight, Mr. President.
Director Wallace.
With the Conquerors in Vegas, it was really good. Enjoyed it. Got a lot out of it. One time they even talked about electrical.
So you were right at home.
Yeah.
All right.
The Darmac meeting, head sheriff was there. He said they're focusing on Roseman. He said Roseman is the worst city in Kern County, for crime. And we're going to get 2 to 4 more deputies because they got some money, and they're also getting some
going to build a service station there. We got some property we can sell.
All right. Director Stewart.
Nothing tonight.
Director Webb.
Sure, I have one question for the GM. This goes back to, we were talking about the land. A while back we had talked about our land value, our land portfolio. But we talked about it, we were going to get some appraisals on all that, and nothing ever came to life on it.
I haven't gotten appraisal yet.
All of them.
All of them.
Yeah, because we have a lot of stuff here, and I think at some point we need to start looking at what we need to keep and what we can't keep, because we have a lot of, all over the community, we have a lot of different land packages.
I will put together a cost, based on the cost for one appraisal that I got for one of the properties.
Yeah.
I will put together a cost, a budget for you so that you can consider it.
Because the thing I'm thinking of, we have a lot of land that we're never going to do anything with. And maybe if we get it off the books, it can help, finance some of these other things we're talking about around here. So we can kind of look at that. I appreciate it.
Right. 2 weeks ago, I attended the Tri-State seminar in Las Vegas with Al and Ben and a couple of the staff, several of the employees. I have several observations I'd like to share with you. My usual experience at CSDA conferences were quite different from this seminar in several ways. I mean, dramatically different. The attendance at the Tri-State seminar was over 4,000. 4,000. Normally there's 900 at my conference. I felt like cattle being herded. Women were almost totally absent. At my conference, it's 50-50. 50% are women, 50% are men of directors and general managers. Here it was hard to find a woman. The average age was about 40. My conference, the average age is about 60. Most of the speakers here were in their 60s and 70s, but not the attendees. I would say there was a significant number under 40 years of age that were there. No meals were provided. No snacks, coffee in the morning, and that was it. No donuts, no food provided. And they staggered the session so that they could go eat their lunch and get back within an hour. This was at South Point. So there's a number of places to eat, but you're talking 4,000 guys eating lunch at the same facility. Any networking was done on their own. No networking was scheduled. They had to do it on their own. The speakers, for the most part, were in their 60s. The lines were always long, especially the bathroom. They gave you 10 minutes between sessions. You could barely get to the bathroom and back in 10 minutes. The women's, they should have opened the women's bathroom up because there was nobody going to the women's. And the men's lines actually lined up and went down the hallway quite a ways. It moved pretty quick, though. All sessions ended at the same time, and there was just a 10-minute break between them. Every session provided education credits for those in attendance. Each were scanned when they went in to make sure they got the credit, and they also had to turn in paperwork to get their credits. I have an increased appreciation for the employees of Rcsd, and I think the more training we can send them to, the better, because the training there is excellent. I'm sure most of them go away with, well, I need to brush up on this, I need to find out about this. And I was thinking, we're up here making policy, and sometimes maybe the policy needs to be generated from not just the administrative staff, but the staff that works to say, hey, you guys need to do this. And so I don't know if we need a suggestion box or something to use the expertise that our employees have if there's not some kind of policy that we need to change. And I've always said the best money we can spend is to educate our employees.
Technology was unbelievable. If you left that room, they knew it.
Yeah, they had to check in and check out.
I knew if you left.
I did run into my very last seminar. It was actually in a, wasn't even up in the area, it was down on the, where all the slot machines were over there.
I was over there.
And it was a leadership. And there were probably 50 in there, and there were 4 women. So I did see some women in the leadership. But again, thank you for sending me. And I don't know if I need to repeat that again.
That's where a lot of that happened. So, and the good exhibit is amazing. And it's the biggest one I've ever had. Yeah, I'm sure so many. I walk around with, they give you that free bag, and you're taking, the swag, the pins and stuff. And every time I get a card comes away, I write on the back what we talked about in that interaction. Put it in the bag. When I get home, then I sit down. I'm like, oh, I need to schedule an appointment with this guy about this, and that's how I kind of keep track of all the upcoming technology stuff.
Yeah, if you'd have been around, I'd have given you my free drink.
I know.
And that's where I think the input from you to the general manager, and maybe from the general manager of the board, on reasons we need to do certain things that we're not doing now. But again, the best money we spend is in training.
So you jog my memory on this. One thing I took and see the sewer AI that they're coming out with, where you can put a camera in the sewer line and you just drive it, and it codes all the defects per NASCO PHP certification, and codes it and puts it on your CIP list. This is a grade 5. This is the top of your list all the way down to grade 1. So when an average truck I have can give me 2,000 feet a day, this is getting 5 to 7,000 feet a day. So for a system like ours, that's 75 days. You can roughly say 3 to 6 months and have the whole system camera. So I mean, the technology from 15 years ago when I started to now, it's just.
All right. Again, thank you for sending me to that. General Counsel update. John.
I think John stepped out.
Okay. General Manager update. Kim.
Just to report, and Larry may report on some of this, but we experienced some damage from Tropical Storm Hillary. We did have some erosion at the wastewater plant in some of the areas. Some of the wastewater plant equipment had some issues because of water intrusion, so we got a lot of water there. There's an unusual amount of infiltration in a flooded area at Holiday and 30th Street West. We got an additional flow to the wastewater plant of about a million gallons, so just to give you an idea, we're permitted for 1.27 million gallons a day, and the day that we got the rain, it was 1.9. We think that the infiltrations happen at the manhole shafts, actually, because that area is pretty saturated. And Ryan told me that he popped the lids, expecting, they're there standing in water. He popped the lid once they got it down below the water level below the lid. Popped the lid, and there was still water level all the way up to the top. I mean, looking down on the beach. So I'm pretty sure that's where it was all coming from. And then we had a roof leak here in the boardroom. You don't see it right now, but we did have a roof leak. We probably going to need there's a mechanical well, so I had an opportunity. Larry and I went up to the roof and I took a look around. Probably going to need to re-roof that mechanical well. Fortunately, your standing seam metal roof, that's a 50-year warranty, but the material you have up there is probably a 10 to 20-year warranty, so it's going to need to be done. It's been about 19 years, I think. Yeah, so it's going to be done. So they did some work up there and kind of patch it up.
Yeah, so what it is rolled roofing right now is just basically nailed down. So there's a lot of seams on the seams, like the 45 test, where they go up underneath the shelf of the AC. Henry did
for a redo. So we'll bring that back to you next budget cycle. That's all I have.
I think the good thing is that we saw what the plant at the worst moment has to deal with. So we probably won't get that much water that quick anytime soon again.
Probably not. Ryan would probably disagree that was a good thing.
Well, I mean, I'm just kidding. I'm just down there in the Palmdale, Lancaster.
Yeah.
From the problems they had, because now they got to start worrying about community wellness type things, and they're still now. But I would ask you, because this came up, and it's still coming up. I guess there was a wall that fell on people's property, fell, and they're trying to decide if it's city, county, or a train property. So anything that we have that butts up against what could be private property, maybe make a note that let's start tracking it now, so we'll know when things happen, because these people sound really frustrated. Because the one guy said everybody he called, it just called Ben, Ben just called Byron, Byron just called Alfred, Alfred called Greg, back to Rick again, and you can hear the people's frustration. And I think the one thing about when you have a disaster, your governmental people need to be the go-to. So if we don't have it, let's make sure that we have it, so people call us up and we can be as best we can, let them know who belongs to what, because that kind of takes some of the edge off of them as they move on.
So I'm going to give some kudos to the staff, because exactly what you're talking about right now is what happened in a response. So I talked about the 30th and holiday flooded area that we had. So the county was out there for a couple of days trying to pump water away, because the newest tract was out of power during that period. So they're trying to get the water away so they could get it going again. Our guys, and so the residents were upset at the county, and our guys, Ryan actually brought our pump out there, our trash pump out there, to also help pump that water away. And the residents came up to him, or came up to the group, complaining, but by the time they left, they realized that it was Public Works, County Public Works' responsibility, and they were very appreciative of our staff responding in that fashion. So kudos to them, and then kudos to you to give us that flexibility to do that.
Yeah.
They had two pumps out there. They told me that the pump in the swamp way broke, and they pumped the street out, and they running boats down the street so people was. I asked if he was going to pump out the swamp, and he said no.
Those storm basins will have pumped in them. But even if the pump was working, it wouldn't have kept up with that amount of water. So
they pumped quite a bit of water. I've seen it today, how much they pumped. Yeah. They pump a lot of water. They got one down on 20th, and it actually pumps in that little ditch there.
Yeah.
All right. Any questions for the general manager? Just curious, Kim, you said Brian took a trash pump out there. Yeah, what's it, a 4 or 6? 4. Right?
Is that the one down there by West Park Middle School?
Yeah, that sounds right. Yes, that is.
You're talking about the basin where they were pumping?
There's one at Orange, and then there's one down there at the very end, right?
Corner of Holiday and 30th.
These tracks.
At the very end of the track.
Yeah, the very end, or the southeastern portion of that whole development.
All of those basins were full of those tracks and all those tracks over here.
Generally, that happens. They'll put a spillway in so it can come out.
Yeah, and so that's, okay, but that's basically, we discovered when we had, so far we've found 5 sewer manholes without it. And so all the manholes that were in that area of flood, probably under about 8 inches of water, and we're putting water into it. So far we've replaced 5 inches and 5 feet.
Those are those inflow dishes and stuff like that?
Yeah.
So you guys don't have locking manholes then? So you can't use those as locking
We have locking manholes downtown, not here in the new area. But even the locking manholes, they have the holes in them. So if they don't have that plastic, or I think it's a fiberglass insert, water will go into the hole, and the insert will catch it, so it will go down into the hole.
Does it overload the sewer?
Yeah, it was. The water levels were in the shafts, not down where they were supposed to be.
I see the gas station sometimes they put plastic around there.
Yeah, so for the holes, so for the most part, we have inserts in almost all of our manholes, and we're going to continue as the flood goes down and they clean up the mess. We're going to continue checking our manholes.
All right. Public Works update.
No.
Director of Administration update. Jerry.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I'd like to just give you a brief rundown on August activities for shut-offs. We had a total of 9. 4 were for regular delinquency, but we had 5 people on payment arrangements who did not pay and broke their arrangement, which means that they had to pay in full. There's no grace period on the payment arrangement.
Did they make them put up a deposit?
What's that?
Do you have to put up a deposit?
If they don't have one, yes. But all of these had deposits. Late penalties for August were charged to 740 accounts. That's about average.
Is it?
Yeah. And we currently have 31 payment arrangements still active. I also received word about the LEWA program, which is the Low-Income Water Assistance Program. That's federal funds, but it's administered through Kern County, specifically through, in our area, through the Family Resource Center in Mojave. They've extended the program. It was supposed to end in September. It's extended through the end of December. They are now allowing payment for non-arrearages. You don't have to be delinquent. If you qualify, because it's income-based qualification, they will, depending on your income, give you a set amount if you just show that you have a utility bill to pay. And that amount can be as much as $15,000 per resident.
And whose program is this again?
It's the LEWA, Low Income Water Assistance Program, federal funds, federally funded. They provided, the outreach was done by the county, and they provided with the Community Action Partnership is the ones promoting it, and then locally again it's the Family Resource Center in Mojave. But they provided flyers for us. We're going with the assistance of the access to do email blasts to our customers that have email addresses. We have these posted in the district office, some posted in the back. We'd like a copy for anybody to have information. Please let me know. I'll send it to you.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
You said that you had 9 shut-offs, and of that 5 were payment arrangements.
Correct.
Can they go down and get the extension, get back in that, or once they default, they're out?
Once they default, our policy is they have to pay in full.
Okay. But can they get that money you just talked about?
They have to qualify. We don't qualify.
Yeah, I know.
We tell them about it.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, we do tell them about it, but this is something new because the program was supposed to end next month, and they still had money available. And so they've extended that, which is a really good thing. It is first come, first serve, and they are encouraging people to apply as soon as possible, because if you wait till apply in December, it takes approximately 60 days for them to approve applications. If you're not approved by the end of December, you're out of luck. So that's why we're trying to get the word out for people. And again, it's nice because you don't have to be in arrears. If you qualify income-wise, you may be able to get assistance.
Do we have any feel for the number of our customers who are going to take advantage of this or have taken advantage?
I don't know. We have had about 8 people this year that have received funds. This isn't a lot, but we were happy that because we started promoting this when we knew we were going to be doing the shut-offs. We were letting folks know that they would call.
And you gave them everything they needed to know in the publicity of it, I assume.
Yes. It's been in the newspaper a few times. We've done email blasts before. We've also had it on our district Facebook page. And it will be out that way again, too. So we've got the information with the access, and I'll get that out as soon as possible.
It'd be nice if we could get their promotion on the back of our hangers.
There you go. It's not a bad idea.
Turn it over.
I like that. Yeah. We could do that. Send it with our shut-off notices.
Yeah.
Also, we just wanted to touch base. We received today information that the county, along with the Mojave Air and Spaceport, is promoting a job fest on September 20th, 2023 at the Stewart Whitney Center in Mojave. You do have to have, employers have to have available positions to be a part of the job test, but it's nice to know that the county is out there helping folks know what's available.
What day was that again?
September 20th.
So we won't
And
be
it's
there.
from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Yeah.
They're having one in Edwards, too.
Okay.
I'll get the dates.
Okay. And that's all I have to report.
Okay. Any questions for the Director of Administration? All right, moving on. Public Works update. Larry.
First, really, take a minute to introduce myself. I know some of you, my name is Larry Warren, given the task of scheduling and overseeing work in the Public Works Department. Standing in for John Day, I report directly to John everything that goes on. So, go to the report.
What's your title?
Public Works Supervisor.
Did he explain to you that the first time you make any presentation, there's kind of initiation that we have you lined up? And
There was no hating.
Practice freedom, that's not hating. Thank you, Larry. All right.
You didn't get any buy stuff for you. You got to buy stuff. That's the other thing. You have to buy snacks. So we'll wait. We'll wait. We'll wait.
Did you have it up there, or did you introduce yourself?
My update is basically the report.
Okay.
The report. I actually have to give you a brief breakdown of a lot of development going on, as you guys can see. We have 3 buildings in town, for view, legacy, frontier. We're all using different underground construction contractors, by the way. But just they're continuing to develop the track and install infrastructure. Houses up. 5 years from now, so that's it.
We were just discussing, we need to make sure when the new developments come that everything they do is, done the right way.
Yeah.
Regardless of what the county inspector.
So the county inspects the roads and curb gutter and stuff like that. I personally go and look at their water mains, either hydrostatic tests, take their vaccine sample, and send it to the lab. Do their water, sewer lateral inspections, and then when they install the infrastructure, we take note of it and we map it to our public works. So we have it right now. Because as they develop our infrastructure, roads, so we like to have that.
All right, thank you, Larry.
I'm going to piggyback a little bit on what Larry's saying. So we have a potential project that we are going to bring to the board. I'll preview it a little bit. So there's a lot of water leaks that we're responding to because of poor construction materials used in the service line to begin with. So we were going to do a particular street and a particular tract, and then I started, actually all the information that Larry had started to put together, I actually started to collect and started to correlate the amount of leaks with the areas, and then trying, because if you want to do a project where you are going to hire a contractor to replace the line, it's good to get it, in a confined area, so that it makes it, first of all, it's cost effective, and second of all, it just makes more sense logistically. The other thing that I discovered was that there were some multiples. The same ones are getting repaired. So before John went on vacation, I went and talked to him, and we're actually trying to correlate our leak patterns and come up with a project to address those, so we're spending less time or start to attack those areas that we're just going back and repatching. So the information that Larry started to put together is what I wanted to say is, as you guys requested, when we started to produce this information, it kind of led us down this path to, hey, let's be a little proactive on this. And so, along with what some of the things that we discussed related to, safety issues that we have with the public, we will take both of those into account as we develop more of a SOP on how we close out tracks, for example.
I have one suggestion on that, building that project. Maybe, I don't know what your experience is with GIS. I know Brock had a pretty good handle on it, but you can track where these leaks are happening and on a GIS heat map, and you can zero in. You'll start noticing the similarities, and you'll be able to contract. I think that'd be a great idea.
So we don't have that capability yet, but that is something that will probably be asked for in the next budget cycle.
Awesome. One of the seminars that I went to at the Tri-State was a fellow who explained the 9 different kinds of lines and when each one came in, the history of copper and lead and those kind of things. And it was really interesting. And when he got through, I almost thought, what are we using? What's really the right thing to use, for the bigger lines and the smaller lines?
Not what we used about 10 years ago.
Yeah. Same thing. I stopped by a booth. I did a class. I stopped by a booth. Same thing. The guy was representing National Wave Pipe Institute, and he talked in his class about how they had to take this 12-inch piece of pipe out of downtown Minneapolis. That was considered, I think he said it was 150 years old, and the only reason they had to take it out is because they built so much up around there that it was over capacity. They had to take it out and put a bigger relief line next to it, but it was still operating. He showed a video of it in service, and I can tell you now from Camry, from something I put in last week to 150 years ago, it's very, besides the glaze, it's amazing. Easy peasy way to go.
And I questioned, when I was having my house built, he initially went with copper, and then he changed it to some kind of a plastic. And he said it's going to cost more money, but it's much better than the
water pressure.
Yeah.
I've seen it when people drill through to mount the drywall, and it moves the aquapex out of the way. The drywall screw will move the aquapex out of the way. It is not rigid, it's flex. It won't freeze. It won't freeze.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Larry.
It's aquapex. No, I thought flag. It's plastic.
I thought it was pretty cheap.
But I
thought that's the reason they used it. The costs got too high.
rodents can chew through it.
Oh, really?
That's what I was told. We have to do it right.
Yeah, it looked like just tubing, but it was pretty thick. Yeah. All right. Anything more to discuss before we move to have an adjournment? All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved. Motion, Director Stewart. Second.
Webb.
Second, Webb. That was a very moment we were going to continue with.
We're trying to balance the side of the road.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. We are adjourned at 6:55. Have a good evening.